Okay, Gitvach, we're learning Nishmasi Mirasi, Estabas, Shlem Zalman Alevi, and Neshama should have an Aliyah. We began Eza Mekomon on Friday and Erev Shabbos, and we began saying that Kodshe Kedoshim is Shchitasam B'Tzafain, and didn't mention anything about Kabbalah. And then we mentioned Param HaNisrafim. We said, the power of Yom Kippur and the Seir of Yom Kippur, Shchitasan is B'Tzafain V'Kibul Daman. We asked the question, why do we say V'Kibul Dam by Kodesh Kedoshim? And we answered because it's not complete across the board because of Ashim Mitzayra. Because Ashim Mitzayra, it partially needs what? It needs Biyad. Now, if you would begin if you go in your mind, if you think, and you begin Esim Komishal Zevachim, you say Kodshe Kedoshim Shchitasim B'Tzafain, the first thing I would say is the Kodesh Kedoshim, I would bring in the carbon oila. After all, the carbon oila is the highest level. It's amazing. I have two Avri Wosensweigs. It's amazing. You know, he cloned himself. Anyway, so you have, I would say oila. So the first part of the daf is going to be, it's going to be a few lines, is the order. Why we began with chatas, and why, if we began with chatas, why do we begin with chatas panemius rather than chatas chitzonius? Why do we begin with the param hanisrafim and Yom Kippur, which are brought inside the oil, inside the heichel, rather than what than the ones that are brought outside? Says the Gemara, we're up to Mem Ches Amid Aleph. Top line. Par b'soy Yom Kippurim michti safain ba'oil ksiv. We know that the halacha of safain we learn out from oila, guys. It says by the carbon oila, but if in min hatzain carbano, if is a small livestock, the shachrei soyal yerech hamizbeach tzefoina, you should shecht it literally on the yerech, the thigh of the mizbeach tzefoina, the north. So if you want to know north, it's oila. So why do you go ahead and bring with the chatas? Michti tzafim b'oila ksiv nisni oila bereisha. Let's learn oila first in the Mishnah. And for the Gemara, chatos aididas imidrasha chavivalei. Since chatos we learn from a drasha, as we're going to see, right? Hekesh, it says b'makom asher tishchera oila tishchera chatos. So since similar, when something that's chaviv, it's dear to them because you learned it as a result of a drasha, it was more chaviv, so therefore it was listed chatos before what? Oila. Okay. Fred Gemara v'nisni chatos chachitzonius. Let's learn chatas hachitzonius first. Why are you learning what chatas panemius? And for the Gemara, I did nichlis daman lefnai lefnim. Since you're bringing the blood inside lefnai lefnim by Yom Kippur, you're bringing it inside what the kodesh kedoshim to sprinkle in front of the arin, between the badim. So therefore, chavivale is more chaviv. Now, in the parsha fellas of oila in Vayikra Aleph, it first says in oila karbano. And then it says if you bring min habakar from the heavy duty animals, and then it says vim min hatsoin. So the question is, it says min hatsoin. That's where in there it says north. It doesn't say north by bakar, right? By bakar it says the following. Again, I'm reading you from this is Vayikra Aleph pasuk Gimel. Emoilu karbanoi min habakar zachatamim pesach el mayed the samach yod el rosh ha'olah v'nir tzalai. The shachar is ben abakar l'fnei Hashem. It doesn't say anything about the north. Where does it say about the north? So you want to know north, fellas? I don't know it across the board. I only know it what by oila of tzoin. Again, in learning, fellas, again we know the halachas after it's evolved. We're going through how they arrived at these halachas. So we know all oilers in the north, but l'chayre, if your source is the pasuk, if that's only v'minat soin, it's not what minat baka, correct? So that's all we know is minat soin. The Fred the Gemara, Ashken ben soin. That teaches me what small animals. Ben baka minala, and how do you know the larger animals? Amakra ve'imminat sign. So the vav connects the parshios. So parsha A is bakar, parsha B is tzain. In parsha B it says tzafain. The vav in parsha B connects back to parsha A. Guys, important. The vav goes ahead and connects the two. So it's stated in parsha B by tzain. It says Safine, we connect it to the first parsha where it says, where it doesn't say anything, but it says ve'im, the vav is moisif al inyan rishain v'ilmud el yoy mitachton. And we learn that baka from tachton, from tzayin. Good? Now, we're going to suggest that it's machlokes whether this vav connecting the two seems to be a machlokes rishonim, a tanayim. This works out well. You can learn min bakar that north if you go ahead and connect it to the tzayin. Not everyone uses the vav as a connection. Where do we see this? We see it regarding this parsha. Let's give you a little hakdama. Let's look at this parsha. Okay, this parsha is speaking about Me'ilah. Nefesh ki simul mal v'chote b'shkaga mikotche Hashem hevias hashamo ayel tamim min atzoyin be'erkecha kesef shkalim b'shekel hakodesh. So it has to be shkalim 2 silver kesef. So this is the parsha of Osham Me'ilah. Okay, now what's the next parsha? The nefesh ki sechta v'osa achas mikol mitzvos Hashem ashaloi se'asena. A nefesh that sins, v'osa achas, and does one of the averis, right? V'lo yoda, and he doesn't know it. V'ashem v'nasa avoinoi v'hevi ayel tamim min atzayin, right? Be'erkecha al. Now this is the parsha of Osham Tolui. He doesn't know he did an avera. So juxtaposed to the parsha of Osham Me'ilas is Osham Tolui, and we have a vav connecting it. Good. So now, if I learn out a halacha here from here, malamdin. If I don't learn out halacha, a malamdim. So says Rabbi Akiva the following, fellas, you have a piece of chalev, a piece of shuman. You don't know if you're chayiv karas or not, guys. You're being nashim talui. What happens if you have kachim in front of you and chulin in front of you? It's a suffix where you chayiv me'ilah or not. You have kachim and chulin. Now the question is, would you bring an ashim talui? Now says Rabbi Akiva, you would. You know why? Because the vav connects you. The vav is connecting this to this, and memela, just like this is Asham Tali, and this is speaking about Kachim, about Me'ilah, so too you bring a suffix Me'ilah, you bring what? You bring an Asham Tali. That's if you have the vav. The Chacham suggests that no, since you don't bring it, it must be you don't have the vav. That's going to be the discussion on the way. That's going to be the discussion we're going to discuss right now. Is it good? You're set up. The Tanya, the Nefesh, the Chayiv al Sufik Me'ilois Ashim Taloi. Again, if you have in front of you, you must whether you ate Kachim or not, you're going to bring an Ashim Taloi, Div Rabbi Akiva. You know why? Because Rabbi Akiva is going to learn the Ve'im, he's going to connect the two. The Chachamim Poitrim, but the Chachamim say it's Pater. Why? Because they don't connect the two. So the question is, like the Chachamim, fellas, how do you know that Min HaBaka, the Oila, is in the north? If you don't connect it, how do you know the oila of bakar is in the north? My labaha kamifli, the svaras hamachloikis, ma'asava lemidin. Rabbi Akiva is of the opinion you do learn, and therefore will apply asham taloi to suffix mila. Umasavar, and the chachamim who say yapater ain't lemedin. So like the chachamim, how would you know bakar is in the north? Amrav Papa says, Papa no. The kuliyamale made him. Everyone says you do. The male, if everyone says you do, then everyone holds that what? That it's in the north. Everyone holds that. Even bin Abakam. So then, therefore, fellas, there must be an other svaras hamachloikis over here, right? Why the Chachamim do not hold that you bring on a suffix me'ilah asham talui? If everyone holds this vav, fellas, if everyone holds this, right? Then why in the world would the Chacham say you do not bring on a suffix me'ilah? Why wouldn't you bring kavan asham? After all, it's connected with the vav, and that's what you're telling me that everyone holds this, right? So what's the reason that why you would not bring it? So I'm going to papa kuliyam lemidin behind the time of the rabbanon that you don't bring it. Nemer kan mitzvos. It says over here. Nemer kan. It says over here. Right? It says in this parsha, fellas. That word, guys, mitzvos Hashem. That's what it says, and it says the nema bechatas chaylev basasa achas mitzvos Hashem shaloi sena. So I don't have that pasuk here, okay, But that's speaking about stama achatas, chatas chelav. So in other words, the Chacham say the following: I have a gezerah shava that trumps the vav. Outside, guys, outside. With the vav, I should connect the two and say yechayev and suffik asham talui on mat on a suffik milas. But that, and I agreed with the vav. I got something that trumps it. It says by asham talui mitzvahs. It says by chatas chelev, a regular chatas, it says mitzvahs. So the only time you're going to bring an asham talui is when the punishment is kares. When you eat suffik, whether I ate shumin, shafa, whether I eat chelev. If you're going to go ahead and eat kachin and eat what and eat chulin, there's no kares. It's right. It's no kares as long as the kain star. Good. So memela, since I have this gezerah shava, it would trump the nefesh. You with me? Guys, you got the limud one more time. I just need one person to do this one more time. If not, I'm good. Okay, one more time. Good. We have this vav connecting. So we have a problem now. If the vav connects, then like the chachamim, you should hold that if you ate a suffik me'ila, you should bring an asham talei because the vav's connecting it. Says the Gemara, the chachamim have a reason not to make that limud. What's the reason? Because it says mitzvahs by asham talei, and it says mitzvahs by chatas, by regular chatas. A regular chatas is brought only when there's a chiv kares. Yeah. So memela, you know when you're going to bring an asham talei. Only when there's chiv kares. By meila, there's no chiv kares. Meila, I can't make that limud. Meila, beautiful. That's meila, I can't make that limud. Okay, says the Gemara. So one more time. Behind the time of the Rabbanon, nema kan mitzvahs. It says by asham tali mitzvahs. V'nema bechatas chelev. It says bechatas chelev mitzvahs. We call chatas chelev stamazle because the chiv kares is eating chelev. Mala halon by chatas chelev davish chelev al zleine kares v'ashir gasei chatas. Afkan, so to by Asham Talui, Shechayva is then a Karas Chatas. Good. Now, maybe Akiva, what does he do with that Gezerah Shava? In other words, Rabbi Akiva, obviously, we're going to say he learns the Gezerah Shava mitzvahs, but he also learns the Vav to connect that Yechayev on a suffix Mila. Rabbi Akiva, Mala Halon Bikavua, Afkan Bikavua, Lafuke Chatas, the Tumas Mikdash Uktasha of Doilav Yaridhu. Okay, meaning, I'll be chayiv an asham talui, even if you're not chayiv kares. Asham mila, suffix milas, you're not chayiv kares. What does Rabbi Akiva do with the mitzvahs? Here's what he does. A chatas chelev, no matter how poor you are, you're going to bring an animal. No matter how poor you are, you're going to bring an animal. The only option you have of not bringing an animal is if it's one of the Vayikra, the carbon oil of the chatas that, depending upon your financial status. So shvus bitu, shvus aedis, tumas mikdash kadashav. I don't know for sure. I went into the base of mikdash and I'm not sure. Do I bring an asham tali or not? Says Rabbi Akiva, you don't. That's what I learned out mitzvahs. I use the Gezerah Shava, but not to teach me that an Asham Talui is only by a Chiyav Karis. It's to teach me that an Asham Talui is only by a Chatas Kavua, a Chatas that's set. Mashenkin, if it's oil of a depending upon your financial status, I'm not going to bring an Asham Talui. So if I'm a supik whether I went to the base of Mikdash or not, and you think you're being an Asham Talui, you don't. That's Rabbi Akiva's limud. So therefore, they both learned the Vav, and they both learned the Gezerah Shava. However, they're learning different dinner from the Gezerah Shava, and we'll discuss it in a second. This is where we're holding right now. Rabbi Akiva says you would bring an Asham Talui on Safik Me'ilois because of the Vav. I read about mitzvahs, comparing it to the Chiyav Karis. I'm not comparing it to the Chiyav Karis. I'm comparing it to the fact that it's a Chatas that is Kavua, that it's not dependent whatsoever on my financial status. But if I have a suffix in an Oil of Yored situation, such as whether I went to the base of Mikdash or not, in that case, you will not bring what? An Asham Talui. That's what Rabbi Akiva does. Darshans it. The Chachamim Darshan, no, for a Chatas, that's a Chiyav Karis, Memela, Me'ila, which is not a Chiyav Karis, we're not having an Asham Talui. For Rabbanon, Ein Gezerah Shava L'Mechza, they learn that both. In other words, Ein Gezerah Shava L'Mechza, mitzvahs, I'll learn out Din A and Din B. I'll learn out a Chiyav Karis, and I'll learn out what? That it has to be a Chatas Kavua. For Rabbi Akiva Nami, Ein Gezerah Shava L'Mechza, so you have to learn both. Einachanami. Now we got a problem. So if Rabbi Akiva has to learn both, he doesn't have a source for an Ashim Tali by what? By Suffolk Meilis. Why? Because the Gezer Shav is telling me it's only a Chi of Karis, not Meila. Guys, you following? Just follow along with Uncle Rabbi Stern, right? The bouncing ball, right? Remember the cartoons, the bouncing ball. So right now we're holding a problem. If Rabbi Akiva learns the Gezer Shava completely, that means he has to say that Chi of Ashim Tali is only by what? A Chi of Karis, and Meila is not a Chi of Karis. V'hacha b'hacha mifkli. Rabbi Akiva Sava v'im nefesh ksiv vav moisif al inyan rishain. Rabbi Akiva says, I'm going directionally. I'm going from the vav to teach me on inyan rishain. What does that mean? The question at hand is, are you learning out the top from the bottom or the bottom from the top? So Rabbi Akiva is saying you're learning out the top from the bottom. You're learning out the following. Rabbi Akiva nami en gezer shav lemechza, en achinami v'hacha b'hacha mifli. Rabbi Akiva sova v'in nefesh ksiv, right? And that goes ahead and it tells me that the gezer shav is not complete, right? Again, I have a limit over here to tell me gezer. In other words, if you're going to learn the gezer shava, you're not learning anything out from Ashim Tali to Meila. Guys, fellas, if you're learning completely that only a Chi of Karis and not only a Chi of Karis, and what was the other thing? And not Oil V'Yari, correct? So if you're learning those two, so what are we learning out from the Vav? In other words, there obviously is a limit from the Vav, from the connection of these parshas, right? In other words, you just can't do away with this. If you can't, you're doing away with this. If you're telling me there's nothing, that the Gezer Shav is complete, what are you doing with this connection? So Rabbi Akiva says, I have no choice. Even though there's a Gezer Shava, I have this connection of this. And this teaches me, I'm learning out this from this. That what you would have by a suffix, that's what I learned. And the Chacham is, we're going to see it and go in a different direction. I'm leaving this open. Says the Gemara. And obviously you have a Gezer Shava, but I have a limit v'im nefesh. What's the nefesh? That moisiv al inyan rishain. It goes ahead and this inyan rishain of Meila is even by what? Ashim Talui. So I'm learning this is being moisif. Even by Meila, I'll have an Ashim Talui. That's what the Vav does, guys. Right. Even the Meila Parsha A, I'll have Parsha B. Rabban Nami Aksivim Nefesh. If good, they learn the Gezer Shava, but what do they do with this Vav? Leimo Hakmifli. The Masav Rabbi Kiva Sava Hekesh Adif. The Hekesh is stronger. Masav the Gezer Shava Adif. No, but everyone knows the Hekesh is Adif because you don't ask on a Hekesh. The Kliyama the Hekesh Adif. Emilach Rabbanon Tachton Hu Degama Me Elyon. We're going to learn at the bottom from the top. We're going to learn at the bottom from the top. Now, what are we going to learn at the bottom from the top? Fellas, how much do you have to pay for an Asham Tali? How much do you pay? The Nefesh Tisech Davas Achim Kol Mitzvahs, the Hevia Ayal Tamim in that sign, does it say an amount? Does it say an amount? No. Vehevi es Hashem Hashem Ayel Tamim and Atzoin Be'erkecha Kesef Shkalim. You know what I'm going to learn out? That just like an Asham Me'ilas is 2 silver shkalim, so too an Asham Tali is 2 silver shkalim. That's what we're going to learn out. So in other words, each one learns the Vav, but they go in a different direction. Rabbi Akiva learns out what the top from the bottom. He learns that this Asham Tali will be what? From an Asham Tali will be even from a suffix Me'ilis. And then if I'm saying, no, I'm going to learn out the bottom from the top. What does the top say? 2 silver shkalim. So to what? Asham Tali has to be 2 silver shkalim. So everything's got right now. We began the share, fellas. We need a source. What's our source? Where do you know an oil is in the north? Says the Gemara, because it says by Tzoin, north. Fred the Gemara, what about Bakar? We have a Vav connecting Tzoin to Bakar, so we know Bakar too. Fred the Gemara, that's very good according to Mandi Amma who darshans a Vav. What about the Mandi Amma who darshan a Vav? And the answer is, there is no such Mandi Amma. Every Mandi Amma darshans the Vav. At the Seif, everyone, we thought that was the Machloikis, right? That wasn't the Machloikis. The question is, how you darshan the Vav? Do you darshan top to bottom or bottom to top? So Rabbi Akiva darshan from bottom, top to bottom. That Rosh Me'ilis is right. In Rosh Me'ilis would be by Yashim Tali too, if it's suffix. And the Chachamim, they went the other way. They top to the bottom, just like the top was what 2 silver kesef. This was 2 silver kesef. How are we doing? Great. For Rabbanan, I mean, like Rabbanan Tachnu, the Gama Melia, and the Asham Bekeshon, Shalei Toimar, you shouldn't say, Lo Yehi Sveika Chama Mivadoi, Mavadoi Chatas Bas Danka, Av Sveika Osham Bar Danka. In other words, guys, if you were Chayiv, a regular Chatas, do you need 2 Kesef Shkolim? A Danka is a sixth of a Ma, it's Lav Davka. In other words, the price of a Chatas is arbitrary. The price of an Osham Eilis is not. So you would think the following, guys. Listen, eye contact. You would think the following. If the reason I'm bringing the Osham Toloi is a suffix whether I was over on the Issa of Chatos or not, right? Why should I have to bring one that's worth 2 silver? You know, I would think the suffix can't be stronger than the Vadai. And just like Vadai is any amount, so to the suffix any amount. Kimash Malon, the juxtaposition, like the Chachamim, that no. Once it has a Shem Asham, you know what you pay? 2. Right, good. That's the end of, okay. Rabbi Akiva, Haisvar Minale. Where does Rabbi Akiva know that you have to pay 2 for the Asham Taloi? Nafkale, Mivizois Tyrasa Asham, Tyrasa Achas L'chol Hashamais. All Hashamas are the same, and therefore I know you're going to pay 2. Tenach Madiyam this late Tyras, who dashes the word Tyras. Manda less late Tyras Mehecha Gomar. That we're going to see that Manda in Menachas. Gomar, it's Gomar Be'erkecha. Okay, now if you look at Rashi, so over here, just to put it on the board, you have the word Be'erkecha here. Guys, look, by Osham Eilis, you see the word Erkecha? I'm throwing myself around there. You see the word Erkecha over there, by the pointer, Erkecha, good. So it's established by Osham Eilis, there's the word Erkecha. Good. It says by Osham Eilis, it says the word Erkecha. So now, okay, so if you look at Rashi, Rashi tells you, Be'erkecha, Ba'osham Toloi, Ba'osham Gezelos, Ksiv Be'erkecha. By Osham Toloi, and Ba'osham Gezelos. So here you go. It says Be'erkecha. So I have a Be'erkecha by Osham Eilis. I have Be'erkecha by Osham Toloi. Just like over here, it's Kesef Shkalim. So too over here is Kesef Shkalim. Yes? That's what you want to know. Like Rabbi Akiva, if you don't go ahead and darshan the vav in that direction, you have be'erkecha to teach me. Just like here it says erkecha and it's 2 shkalim, so too over here. In addition, by Asham Gezelos, it also says be'erkecha. That leaves me with what? It leaves me with one more, Asham Shifcha Charufa, because by Nazir and Mitzayra it doesn't have to be 2. So says Gemara, and it says. Both cases it says ale, and just like it says ale over here. Take a look on the board, guys. It says be'el over here. It says by ale b'shifcha charufa. Just like over here by Yashim Eilis, it's kesev. It says ale. So I have 2 gzeir shavas, erkecha, el. Bottom line is, we wanted to know simply, where do you know that shechita of an oil is in the north? What did we come up with? We came up with, it says it by tzayin. We make a limud vav to bakar. We then question whether everyone holds limud vav. Everyone does hold limud vav. But the question is, what you learn out from the vav? Rabbi Akiva learned out that suffix me'ilas you do. The Chachamim, the Rabbanan learned out that from an Asham Toli, even though it's being on a suffix chatas, it's not an arbitrary amount. It's 2 from that. We want to know where does Rabbi Akiva know that from? By Asham Gezelos and by Asham Toli, it says Be'erkecha, and by Asham Shivcharufa, it says Ale. And so far we're holding good. You see a chart?
Yeah.
This is Gedalia Sladowitz gave me Rishus to use it, Masorah's publications. You have 4 psukim by chatas on the board. One a general, one by the nasi who brings a goat. He does not bring a female, he brings a male. One by the goat, one by the sheep. Good? All these have in common that they say the following. So we know an oil is in the north, chatas is going to be in the north. That it seems to be a very, very repetitious, right? Very, very repetitious. Good. So now, with this in mind, let's begin, and we'll be referring back to that chart in a minute. Chatas minola.
There's a beautiful reason for why it's in the same place as the ola. Because a person wouldn't be embarrassed to bring a chatas because he might be bringing an ola. Nobody knows that he's bringing.
Right, it's a cover up. Very, very nice. Very nice. Chatas minolon, the boy sofin, the chsiv, the shocher es chatas b'mokam ha'oila. You should shech the chatas in the place of the oila. Ashrin shchita, kabbalah minolon. How do you know kabbalah? Also in the north, the chsiv, the pasuk says, v'lokach hakayin midam achatas be'etzbo. Now, so now v'lokach hakayin midam achatas. You don't have to tell me that v'lokach hakayin midam achatas. It's coming to tell me v'lokach kabbalah. Where is the kabbalah? In the same place, what, as the shchita. Rashi, the first wide line. V'lokach hakayin basa v'shachat kasiv. Right after it says v'shachat, it says v'lokach. Mashma b'makam ha'oila nami yilakach. In the place of the shchita, right? That's where you should go ahead. Right? In the oila, you should go ahead and take it. So this pasuk, v'locha kaim midam achatas, v'hach lekicha kabbalah. The gama b'gzeir shava b'taris kanim never kan lekicha v'never lan lekicha. V'yikach Moshe chatzi adam v'yosef aganis. He put it in the. So just like there with Moshe was kabbalah, here's the kabbalah. So it's now v'locha kaim midam achatas mekabel matzah minola. And how do you know so how do you know the mekabel has to be there? I know the kli has to be there. How do you know the mekabel, the person himself, has to be there? Amakra, v'lokach loi, take away the yud, and we're going to, guys, v'lokach, kama. We're going to take the vav and the lamid and make it loi. We're going to play jumble. Guys, take the vav and the lamid, right, and make it loi, and loi kach. Then you're going to say, him should take. So it says v'lokach, and we're going to take the Shitim Guvesis takes out the yud in the yud base takes out the yud from kach, and we're going to go ahead and divide it up into two words. Vilakach to loy kach. Him should take. Got it? We're going to, this is right now, that's what we're holding. Ashrin le mitzvah. So I know it's a mitzvah to shechten in the north. La'akev minayin. How do you know if you don't do it, that one, it's no good? Now, here's our rule by Kotchim. If you want to be ma'akev, you repeat it. Kol makom sheshona hakosev la'akev. So the repetition tells us lechatchila, and if you don't do it, afilu b'di'eved not. The repetition tells me afilu b'di'eved not. Got it? That's what the repetition tells me. So now, ashkachin lemitzvah la'akev minayin kroach rina ksiv v'shachar isai b'makam hashiyishchar es ha'oila, and you should shech it in the place that what? That you shech the oila. Here you go. That's it's written by the Nasi. Guys, good? This is a very crucial pasuk. Good. Tanya, Heichin Oila Nishchat, Bitsafin. After that, Bitsafin. Amid Beis. The Chi Mikana Tolamad. Over here, you're learning Oila in the north. The Chatas in the north. Guys, look at the chart. If this pasuk tells me, and this pasuk tells me the shchita of the chatas is in the same place as the oila, why do I need this pasuk to tell me that? Got it? It's telling me the same thing. So it's in the north. Why are you telling me this? I know it already. I know it. Back in the Gemara, why is this taken out of that rule? To be kaveh a place. If you don't shecht it, so this is the repetition. This is la'akev. By the Nasi, it says It's la'akev. Guys, you good? This is the source. This is la'akev. Atayim elakach yotza. That's why it was taken out to be ma'akev. Maybe, fellas, guys, watch. You know what this says? The place where you shech the chatas, you shech the oila. Which chatas? The nasi. Maybe the other one's not. Maybe only the nasi's in the north. That's why it's taken out. Maybe only the nasi's in the north. That's why it's taken out. Talmud Loimar, it says, "V'shachet es achatas b'mkoima oila." Next pasuk, guys. Fellas, if it's only the nasi, why would it say it by what? By the goat. Yeah? It says the same thing. Zeb binyanav l'chol chatas sheyitunas safin. Ashkan ser nasi. Bein le mitzvah, bein le akev. So ser nasi, I know both. Mitzvah and akev. Shar chatos nami ashkan le mitzvah. All other chatos, I also know the mitzvah. La akev minale. The only one I know that if you don't shech in the north is no good completely is the nasi. How do you know all the others? Therefore, the chsiv, the kivso, chsiv basira. It says by the goat and it says by the sheep. Therefore, the shachras achatas ma'oila, the shachras achatas ma'oila, to tell me that each one is ma'akev. Okay, guys, you good? Great. Now, this word, the shachar isai, is going to be the rest of the share. Guys, look at it. I want to take the chart off. Take a look over here. Guys, look at it one more time. By the nasi, it says, v'shachar isai b'makam ha'shiyishcha isayla. It. What's the it? Once you told me that it's universal, that every one of the kabbanis of the chatas have to be in the north, and if they're not in the north, it's ma'akev, it's no good. What's the oisoi? What's the miyat coming? And that's going to be the rest of the share. So you all set up. Okay. It says the Gemara mi boilech Tanya. Oisoi b'tzafin ve'ein sir nachshem b'tzafin. On the day of the miluyim, when they brought the kabbanis, nachshem brought first. So now that we say that it doesn't have to be in the north. Only the nasi had to be in the north. Only all korban chatas had to be in the north, but nachshem's korban didn't have to be in the north. The Tanya, the Samach Yodei al Rosh HaSayir, the Rabbi Ser Nachshen l'smicha. It says the Samach Yodei al Rosh HaSayir that Nachshen's korban needed smicha. The Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Aimer, the Rabbi Siri Avodas Kechavim, that if the tzibor was over Avodah Zarah and they bring Sira, that it's what l'smicha, that what they need smicha.
Like wasn't Nachshon? It's a one-shot deal, wasn't it?
Hang on, Hesh. Good point. Good point. Sachla amina choyel vis rabbi l'smicha. Is rabbi nami l'tzafain. I would think since Nachshon's korban was included smicha, it should be included also in the north. Kamash Milan, I saw that it didn't need to be in the north. Maskal Ravina, Hanich Rav Yehuda, that who says that what to be marba Nachshon's korban, that since it was in the smicha, you had to tell me you didn't have the north. But Rav Shimon Ma'ik Lameim, Rav Shimon said it's speaking about the Sirim of Avodas Kechavim. It's not speaking about the Sirim of Nachshon at all. What is the Oisoi by the Nasi can't be Mamayit? What is the Shachar Oisoi can't be Mamayit? Amalei Mazutra Brei the Rav Tovi, the Ravina, Rav Yehuda Minicha, and Rav Yehuda who's Marba by Smicha. You need to tell me that the Shchita is that Shchita is not in the north. I'd say the following: Lamai this Rabbi, whatever was included in this Rabbi, Umay the Loyas Rabbi, Loyas Rabbi. Hesh correct. It was a one-shot deal. So whatever was included, it's included, and whatever not. So what do you mean? It works out well according to that. You learn smicha also in binyanav. So says the Gemara. It seems ludicrous. Ella, what do you have to say? You don't learn out Nachshon's korban from future generations. That's what Hesh's point. You don't learn it out from future generations. So we're back to the original question. So what do you do with the Oisai? If you tell me the Oisai is not to go ahead and exclude Nachshon's korban from the north, what is it coming to exclude? You, again, at this point in time, we've included every single chatas, le'inyan, shchita, lechatchila, and afilu b'di'eved, everything. So what's the Oisai come to be mamayit? Elas Oisai b'tzafin, vein shreichit b'tzafin. Guess what? The korban has to be in the north, but the shreichit doesn't. The shreichit doesn't have to be in the north. Fred the Gemara, I need the pasuk by the Chatas Nasi to tell me that. Sheiche b'dereb Achaya nafka. I learned Sheiche from Achaya. The Tanya, Reb Achaya Oimer, v'shocher Isai al Yerech HaMizbeach. This is by the Tzefina. Again, this is by the Oila. Ma tamalayma lefi shemetzinu oimed b'tzafin. Since the person who's standing is in the north, or mekabel b'tzafin. Right? V'm ama b'dorim v'kibel b'tzafin pasol. And therefore, and the person who's doing Kabbalah, if he's in the south and not the north, it's puzzle. So I would say the following: just like by Kabbalah, they both have to be in the north, so to the Shaykhid has to be in the north. Kamash Malon Rabachai, that the Shaykhid does not have to be in the north. So why do I need the Shachar? I say to teach me that. I learn it out from this din of what of Kabbalah. Tamad Leima, Vimama B'Tarim the Kibbutz Safin Pasal Yochelav Zakein Tamad Leima I say B'Safin Vein Shaykhid B'Safin. Good. So that's a Bachai question now. So what do I need by the Nasi? What do I need the Isai by the Nasi to teach me? Okay, I'll tell you what I need it for. That he is in the north, the Ein Ben Oif B'Tzafin. Shchit is in the north, guys, but Malik is not. We have a carbon oilus oif and we have a carbon chatas oif. They're both done with the fingernail of the kohen, right? So you might think that what it has to be in the north. The shachar I say only chatas has to be in the north. A shchita, but malika does not have to be. The Tanya Yachale Ben Oif Tayin Safin. I might think Ben Oif needs north. Again, after all, guys, it's an oiler chatas. Guys, it's an oiler chatas. V'dinu Uma Ben Sain Shaloi Kava Loi Kayin Kava Loi Safin. A Ben Sain that's not Kaveh Kayin. Can a zar be shaykhid an oiler, guys? A zar, of course he could. Shchit is kasha bizar. So nonetheless, you need north. Ben Oif that needs a Kayin. Ein Aydin, it should be in the north. Kamash Malon, the Shachar I say it doesn't have to be in the north. No, I need the pasuk to tell me what the opposite of what I would think. So since I would think it has to be in the north, why would I think it has to be in the north? Because it's a koyin dafka as opposed to an oila or any other carbon can be shachted by a non-koyin, a zar. So I would think just like, and it still needs north, I would say that what? Then Ben Oif certainly needs north. Ben Oif shekava like koyin in adin shekava safin tamalei ma'isai. I'll ask a question. Mal ben Oif shekin kava like kli. Ben Soin, Kabbalah Kli. In other words, you know why it needs north? Because it has a chumrah, you need a Kli to go ahead and shecht. Mashain came over here by Malika, you're not doing a Kli, you're using a fingernail. So therefore, maybe you don't need north. And therefore, I don't need Isai. In other words, I have a chumrah of a regular carbon that I don't have by Malika, by Ben Oif. It needs a Kli. So in other words, so therefore your limud is not a good limud. Memela, I would not need a say that it says by Nasi to be mamayit ben oif. Eloisa b'tzafim vein pesach b'tzafim. You know what? Dafka the chatas is the north and not what and not a carbon pesach because you would think a carbon pesach has to be in the north. The Tanya Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov Aimer Yochel Yei Pesach Toyin Saflin V'Dinhu, and that's the svara. Uma oila shekain leikavla zman. But oila, there's no specific time to shecht it. Any time during the day would work. Kavalite safin, nonetheless, it has to be in the north. Pesach shekavalite zmanish chitasai. It has to be after ben abayim on the Yudalid. Ein adin shekavalite safin. So in other words, I have a chumrah. So certainly I would think that it has to be in the north. Madach oila, which is not kaveh at a specific time, any time during the day would work, and yet it needs north. Certainly Pesach, which has the chumrah that has kaveh at a specific time, ben abayim Yudalid. That's what I need this pasuk for. You'll say it's not a good limud because malo oila shekain kolol. Chatas, a carbon's totally burnt in oila. Chatas is not. Malo chatas shekain mechaperes and oila not. Achave krisis and oila is mechaper for asay. Me'osham malo osham shekain kotche kedashim. So mikula namish shekain kotche kedashim. So therefore, I got a problem, guys. I don't have a limud to tell me Pesach has to be in the north that I need a site to be a mayat. Where am I going to learn it from? Chatas, Oila, Hashem, they're all Kachim Kedoshim. That's what I need in the north. But Pesach, which is Kachim Kalim, you will need the north. So it can't be that, again, all we're going back to, guys, is this pasuk. This one word. This one word. This one word. That's what we're dashing. You know, I should make this bigger. This one word, guys, v'shachar Isai. So we're coming to the finale right now. What do we use v'shachar Isai for? Good? What do we use that for?
Why was it Dafka the Nasi that had the word also to make this miyat and not any of the other?
I didn't write the Torah. I don't know. They put it over there. The shachar I say again, it's but other carbons you'd say the shachar I saw, by the way, because the nasi's carbon's unique. It was a male. Most of chatas is a female. Okay. Anyways, it could be that's the reason you want to bring a limud for any carbon, so you bring it from a male, not a female, which is unique, because not every carbon, an oiler guys, for example, an asham, they're both males, right? That might be an answer to your question. Okay, now, lo'ilam kid amaron meikara, oisa b'tzafin bein shoichet b'tzafin. So the shoichet does not have to be in the north. We said Reb Achia's then, with the kashlach mit Reb Achia, nafkanon lav lemute shoichet b'tzafin, el ein shoichet b'tzafin aval makabel b'tzafin, right? But makabel has to be b'tzafin. So this is teaching me, guys, this is teaching me the following. This is in the north, but Kabbalah is not in the north. I don't need V'shachar Esai to teach me Shchita, that I know from Rabbi Chia or Rabbi Chaya. So it's teaching me Kabbalah is not in the north. Now, you're going to go ahead and tell me, Leis, or those people who are more respectful, Rabbi Leis, right? You're going to tell me what? You're going to tell me, Loi, guys, go back. Remember this cute limud? 4 lines up. Amid Aleph. Ches Amid Aleph. Go back. Mikabel atzmi nolon. Amakra. V'lokach loi kach. Right? So we learn it from there. What do you mean that that v'shachar soy? So therefore, Fred the Gemara. Lavim with his shachar b'tzafin el makam b'tzafin mikabel milokach v'lokach nafkolo v'lokach loi mashmalei. No, it's not mashma to him that limud of vil lokach to take the loy and put it over there, that he has to be in the north. So v'shachar soy. So we're concluding the limud. We're concluding the limud, like we said, that to teach me that, just let me get it clear, guys. So guys, look at me. So Rabbi Chia's din was what? That the shoichet does not have to be b'tzafin, right? The shoichet does not have to be b'tzafin. So the shachar oisai is teaching me the shoichet does not have to be oisai. The animals not, but not shoichet not. But makabel, yes. The one who's makabel has to be b'tzafin. Fred the Gemara, you know that already from V'lokach loy kach loy kach, right? That the person who dash this Isai does not like that drasha. So we're concluding the share with the shachar Isai to teach me shoichet not, makabel yes. That's what we're learning out from the Isai. So we had a night of limudim. We had the Vav and Rabbi Akiva. Now we know Ola is from that Vav. We know Ola is in the north. We had psukim by Chatos that tells me it also has to be in the north. We had a repetition to tell me it's ma'akev, not only by nasi, but by every carbon. And we're learning at the Isai by nasi to teach me that the shoichet does not have to be in the north, but the makabel does.